everybody. I'm Debbie Cowan from Prime Lending, and I'm here with my new friend, Alaire Boschella from Gold Street Realty, and we are here to kind of get to know you a little bit better and ask you some questions about what you think about the market.
Sure.
And where you just came from and your experience levels and things like that. So how are you, first of all?
Wonderful.
Yep.
Yes.
And how long have you been in Ocala back? Because I know we talked about this before.
Yeah. Well, now, honestly, almost exactly a year. A year as of 2 days ago.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes.
Okay. And you came from Ohio?
Cleveland, Ohio.
Right.
Yes.
And why did you move to Ocala?
Sunshine. No snow, which is the story you'll hear from most Northerners.
Yep.
I've had family in this area pretty much my whole life. So I grew up coming down here all the time. Very much a second home to me.
Was it in Ocala?
Yeah.
Oh,
yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Right in Ocala, right off 60th. So
okay.
I'm very familiar with coming down here my entire life.
Yep.
But yeah, I went to school, high school, college, undergraduate, both graduate degree up north at Kent State University. So,
wow.
Yeah. Yes. So very familiar with up north, obviously very rooted there, friends, family. My parents had since moved down here past couple years ago. And,
who lived here? Was it your grandparents?
My grandparents.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So then, my grandparents were already down here. Now, since my parents have moved down here, my brother moved away, friends getting married, moving away. So I'm like, okay, I'm the only one left in Ohio. Of course I had,
time.
Yes. And I just felt like in my heart, it was ready to make a change. I was personally craving better weather.
Right.
And I was in real estate up north as well. So obviously a very fervent real estate market down here that I was aware of. I thought, hey, I'm young. This is the perfect time to dive in, have a new adventure, and still be in the same career, but dive into a whole new world.
I mean, you came this is it's got to be a little bit of a culture shock for you, right?
Yes.
I mean, you came from a big city.
Yeah.
Yep. And do you like the feel here a little bit differently than what you had up there?
Yes, absolutely. So I grew up in pretty much like Hallmark suburbia was the actual town that I lived in.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So, but right outside of the city. And that's the thing too, up north in Northeast Ohio specifically. Every area you're in is very developed. So you can get into a very urban environment within 20 minutes.
Yep.
Or you can get into, suburbia heaven in 20 minutes. So you have every little bit of what you need right there. Down here, obviously, it's very rural. And Ocala, I mean, compared to what?
Well, you call it rural. I mean, we don't we don't call it rural anymore. This is the big city,
This is it.
Compared
this
to what
is the big apple,
right?
The South, right?
Yep,
yes.
Right.
Oh no, it's so funny. So yes, I can see that too. Like I definitely see where a lot of people are getting so excited about the development and so excited about what's to come. So it's really awesome to be a part of that growth and to then come from such an established, I suppose, environment and to have, my ways of thinking and to have my experience and the way like I'm used to things and to come down here and a lot of people are moving from all over the country, all over the world.
We are becoming a true melting pot here for sure.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. We are becoming more northern than south.
That's
sure.
So interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, with that being such a melting pot, like you are experiencing such a mix of perceptions and cultures, and what people are wanting is so different down here too.
Right.
So I love it. I think this is just the beginning. There's so much more to come. I'm so excited to see in the next 5-10 years what Ocala is going to be.
Yeah. What do you kind of think it's going to be?
Well, with the development we're seeing now, they're clearly poising themselves for insane growth. And we were already, as you can tell from all the lists, we're already one of the fastest growing cities in America. So that's incredibly impressive. And I think a lot of people are just kind of tapped out of the saturated big central cities of Central Florida. A lot of people obviously are still moving there, but people are wanting to filter outwards and they're still wanting.
They like that suburbia.
Yeah. So I definitely foresee that for Ocala. It's already becoming that. And we're getting such a mix of demographics here too. Obviously large retirement community, it always will be. But of course, with the World Equestrian Center, you're getting just a really unique niche of people that are really coming here.
Yeah. Now, do you think that that's driving more international people into the area?
Yes.
So do you think we're going to see an opportunity for foreign investors to kind of come into the area a little bit?
Absolutely. And already happening. Yeah, we're already seeing that, and it'll just completely expedite from here. But yeah, especially with a lot of thoroughbred, thoroughbred farms, people are coming internationally, buying them up, cash just ready to roll.
Right.
So yes.
Because I know there's a lot of many farms that are going on right now, and I see it. In fact, even with your agency. So to that point, you're with Gold Street Realty,
yes,
right? And you have been with them for the full time that you've been here? The
Not
full
the
year?
full time. So I just found them late fall of
Okay.
last year. Yeah.
Okay.
So I was doing inside sales for an equestrian community here when I actually first moved
And
here.
that's right. I remember that now.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. But
that's
yeah,
right.
I was looking to expand and I found Gold Tree, yeah, end of fall last year. And
Yep.
it definitely just fit the vision, was a great next
Yeah,
step.
talk a little bit about their agency because they have a great vibe. They have a really
Yes.
cool, what I can see as a vision too for them.
Sure.
So what brought you to them, and what do you feel makes them different compared to a lot of other brokerages?
Yeah. So I first and foremost found them through their marketing. So their
Mm-hmm.
marketing is,
Top.
I know as we talked about, is totally top notch and not what a lot of people is doing. So I found them through their marketing online, and they were very much modern, chic, but you could tell very much cared about that family centric
Yes.
feel.
Yep.
They had a perfect blend
Yep.
of wanting to disrupt, with their tenacity with their marketing, but also wanting to keep that hey, friends and family, we're all in this together feel, and you could tell that through their marketing. So, my first conversation with Freddie and Kyle, I thought, yep, like this is it. I can already tell.
It. Yep, you knew it right then.
Yep, genuine people. They have genuine leadership. They build a family atmosphere.
And they've grown so much. I mean, how many agents are there now?
I think total now there's about almost 30 agents.
And they've been open, what, 2 years?
Not even.
Not even 2 years.
Not even 2 years. Yeah, and they are just now, since we're in our new office space,
Mm-hmm.
they are even more so ramping up their marketing efforts. So they kind of put that on a halt for a little bit as they were moving, and now we're just growing like crazy.
So their vision is servicing a particular clientele, or are they just, everyone?
Definitely everyone. They want to expand their reach as much as possible. Like they want Central Florida to be their haven.
Okay.
Yeah. So as a whole. So we do have agents. We have agents in Tampa. We have agents that do a lot, in the villages, Orlando, more coastal. So we really do want to expand our reach.
Expanding around the whole Central Florida area. That's very, very cool because I can say they're very, very impressive. And we've talked about that too. And what about yourself? You came from, was it Keller Williams originally? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And that was in Ohio. And how long were you there?
I was there for about 2 years.
Okay. Yeah. And how long in the business?
2 years.
Okay.
Started. Yes.
So you're kind of new into the business too. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I noticed are you selling specifically in the 55 plus or
not specifically? Yeah. Okay. So I same as me. Like I will happily help anyone find their home here. Yeah. Okay. So most recently it has been 55 and older. It's just kind of worked out that way. But yeah, obviously very fervent community of that here.
So what do you like to do? I mean, since you're coming here, I mean, there's not a beach here.
Right? Sure.
So what are your hobbies? What do you like to do?
Oh my gosh, I am such an outdoorsy girl. I love anything and everything outdoorsy. I love going on hikes. I love just the springs. So I live close to Rainbow River. Okay. So I'm in the springs all the time. I love kayaking.
Where do you live?
So I live in Denellen.
You do? Well, that's where I'm from. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, okay. That's so fine.
So yeah, do you live in Blue Cove or in that area?
No, I live in Bellago.
Okay.
Yeah, right off 200. Okay. So it's an equestrian community.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. I'm not an equestrian expert, but personally, I don't ride horses, but
I was going to ask, do you do the horses or no?
Leisurely. Okay. I would love to learn more. That is definitely a goal.
Yeah. Well, you're in the right place for that. Yeah, for sure. Yep. Yeah. So you do like to do the kayaking and all that?
Love it. Yeah. So yeah, very close to that. You can hop in the Withlacoochee is right there, right by Stump Knockers down there. Yep. So yeah, love kayaking, love swimming. I mean, and everything is so accessible. Like sure, it might be an hour's drive or an hour and a half drive, but I don't know. It's a totally different mindset from up north to here. Like I will happily drive an hour and a half and just be in nice weather and enjoy my surroundings and knowing that my end goal is to get to the beach. Like that's fine.
So are you a beach girl?
I love the beach.
So so which ones do you like?
See, my favorite recently is up by Flagler, which is so interesting because that whale just washed up.
I know. Beach. Did they ever figure out why that happened? They had one in, was it in Jersey that they also, there's two. It's happened twice now.
Interesting.
It's so weird.
It is super weird.
And to have a whale that close to us too is even stranger too.
Correct. Yes.
So what part of the beach there is it St. Augustine?
Yeah, just south of St. Augustine. So it's kind of funny. I love going where there's fun things to do. So there's this little beach bus called Raga Surf. Raga Surf. It's Raga Bean or Raga Surf Cafe, but it's literally an old school bus, bright blue, that they converted into a little beach cafe.
Really?
So they'll serve like craft coffee and craft foods out of it, but you're right on the beach.
And it's in Flagler?
Yeah, I just think it's the cutest thing, and the beach is really calm, and a lot of surfers go out there. Yeah. So I will go there.
Crescent Beach yet?
No.
You need to check out Crescent Beach, which is in between St. Augustine and where is it? Yeah, it's in between St. Augustine and another little city that
Okay.
they.
I've heard of it. I feel like I've seen it on the
I
map,
can't
but
think
I
of. I
haven't
think
gone.
starts with a P. Placa. So it's between
Okay.
Placa and
Gotcha.
St. Augustine, and
Okay.
there's
That's right
a lot of
there.
surfers that will go there too,
Mm.
especially, and it's. I mean, there's nothing else there other than houses and. But the inlets there, but people will come from Jacksonville. They'll come
Okay.
from everywhere just to do the morning surf.
Oh,
So
really?
and they can do surfing on both coasts in one day if they do it right.
Oh, so
So
funny.
yeah, so if you go out
That's
there,
unique.
it's very quaint there. It's
Sure.
very
Crescent
Crescent
Beach.
Beach. Yep,
Okay.
that's a good one. Have you been out to St. Pete and those
Oh, yes. Yes.
Clearwater, all that?
Definitely grew up going, like, those were the main beaches that we
Hmm.
would grow up going to.
So what brought your grandparents here?
They moved here in 90 or 91. And
Uh-huh.
they moved here because it was just open land. Nothing out here at that time.
But how did they get here? How did they find it?
They, from my understanding, they literally drove from their car from Illinois to Florida and just scouted a couple different retirement communities and drove all around Florida. Just did the whole little Florida tour, and they fell in love with the land out here. They found a perfect little development.
Now, did they live out where you do?
No, not quite. They live close though.
They live close.
Yeah, I mean we're
Okay.
just a couple miles away.
Okay.
So still off 200, very close still. Which is great.
So they came, they retired here, and then you guys just came here.
Yep.
Did vacation.
Yeah, all the time.
It's funny because my grandparents did the same thing because we traveled all over the country. My dad was in the service,
Mm-hmm.
and my grandparents wound up in St. Pete.
Okay.
And so every summer,
Yep.
it was a trek to St. Pete, and back then, I mean, it was so cool because we loved the Clearwater beaches, we loved all that, but I mean, it was completely different than what it is today.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
Yeah, but it was a lot of fun.
Sure.
So you're here now.
I am.
Have you bought a house yet?
No, not yet.
Okay.
And in the process.
Okay.
Figuring out what area makes sense for me.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
But you think you will settle down in this?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
In the Ocala area.
Yep, in the Ocala area.
Even though you might have other options within Gold Street to go other places and stuff.
Yeah, no, I definitely enjoy this area. And it's funny, too. I've been exploring Brooksville more. I'm not sure if you're too familiar, but very cute area, too. So I love the land out there. Too.
Well, and you
have some maybe more established local knowledge of that area.
There was nothing in Brooksville, but I think maybe so that's what
I
was thinking. Maybe you went to outside of Webster and in that area, but ever since they did that toll to Tampa, I mean, so people are moving north from Tampa into this area here. I see that a lot more too.
Yes, and that's what we're also experiencing. Because when you think of industry here on Ocala, we will be getting more and more industry throughout the years. I am hopeful of that. But yeah, this is an option for people who need a cheaper way of life than Tampa. Yeah. And if they're working more along coastal cities, they're looking to spread out.
Well, I mean, have you been in like Lutz or Land O'Lakes or any of that
Land
area?
O'Lakes, yes.
I mean, in the traffic, and I mean, it's a mess. My daughter lives right in Land O'Lakes, and I literally get off the interstate, and it takes me almost as much time once I get off the interstate to get to her house with the traffic than it does just to get from here to the cutoff. So, but I think that is a big distraction to a lot of people that can move a little bit north now. They're wanting to get out of that big city environment.
It's true. Traffic being, to your point, one of the main pain points for people.
And I don't know what we're going to do here. I mean, I can see it getting worse and worse here. In fact, this morning when I was coming into work on 17th, off of 17th, they had a really bad accident. But I mean, before that, the amount of traffic, it took me, I don't know, 3 tries to get through one traffic light because there's so much traffic in the morning now too.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're this little city that we have. I wonder how much bigger, how much how much we can bring in without a lot more infrastructure.
Absolutely,
because
that's
we're
a big
starting,
piece of it.
Yeah, and you're looking at like the WEC. You're looking at all these people coming in, and they do want to still relocate into this area. But we've got a lot of work to do to be able to accommodate.
Of course.
So
and that's the tension. That's the question too of how much do we really push these growth efforts when our infrastructure isn't quite there yet.
It's not quite there. I mean, you look at all the new subdivisions that are going in, the new construction. I mean, they're working on all these new developments, but they're not looking at how to get into these developments.
I know.
What roads, what the roads.
So true.
So it's.
I was just talking about this yesterday.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, just the perception of it. Am I an expert in city planning? I wish I were. That'd be so fascinating. But yeah, just evaluating what is to come, like what's the plan right now, because we are seeing a ton of new housing developments coming in and new infrastructure, but just finding that blend of, okay, we're laying the foundation, and I'm hoping we're laying the foundation for really unique amenities to also come into this area. So I feel like Ocala is also really untapped in that regard of providing really like top quality, unique, creative, like a Gold Street. I mean, that kind of environment of just like, I mean, maybe this is the younger me talking, millennial talking, but more coffee shops, more true boutiques to go in, like things that people want to go downtown to shop for.
Because you say that, because you're starting to see that. You're starting to see the downtown start to come alive.
Yeah, which is great.
Which is very, very good too. But at the same time, to your point, there's not a whole lot of industry that can draw in the younger groups. And so, when I first moved here to Ocala, I was like, God, this is worse than St. Pete. There was just nothing for, when kids graduate high school and they went to college. What are they going to come back here? What are they going to develop something here? Is there any kind of? We're not a metropolis. We're not a big city.
Sure.
So what's going to drive them and keep them here? And so when WEC came, it was like, okay, well, that's going to draw in a different type of clientele, a different type of, environment for people that, are in the equestrian world. But still, even whether we're the Tri-County, whether it's Lake County, Citrus County, Marion County, there's just not a whole lot of business for the youth. So what?
It's very true.
So I wondered, will that mean that we're going to continue to be this really quaint, little Central Florida town that will always draw in the retired group, or are we going to be able to do something like, to your point, of drawing in some fresh blood?
Well, I think that the latter will be what's going to happen, because to your point, WEC is already here and it's already drawing in such a unique crowd. So I feel like you already have the genesis of this group.
But are they going to stay?
Very true. Yes. And I think if they continue, if they really hone in on what they will be bringing here, what kind of industry are we bringing here? How are we? Because I would assume that the town would want to capitalize on this unique group coming here.
I would think so too, right? Well, and this has always been known as horse country, right? So, everybody knows Ocala for being horse country. Well, when WEC came, that just kind of embellished it a lot, from where we were. But I've always, I have 2 children. They would never come here because there's no work for them where they can make a decent living.
Sure.
So that's what I've always wondered, is how do you create that that infrastructure and that type of career oriented, where you can draw in the youth and keep people here, because instead of us just being this little sleepy, suburbia, retirement community. Not that there's anything wrong with that either.
Not at all. Because that's why a lot of people do come here.
and as long as if that's all we have, or 55 plus communities, I'm okay with that too. But I do think that, I see from my standpoint, from the lending standpoint, just like with you guys, your agency is a very young oriented, and you probably, through professionalism, whatever, you can work with anybody, I'm sure. But at the same time, if we had, a young group of people, and they wanted to work with, people their age, like your guys, like yourself, there still has to be something. Where are they going to be able to get the job to be able to afford the house?
So true.
We have that problem here, and just like, I've said on a couple other sessions, you have a person that makes, $18, $20 an hour here, and they have a car payment, they're not going to be able to afford a house. So that's what I keep wondering. What do you think about the market? What do you guys talk about as far as, do you see the market improving? Do you see it going to be sustainable, this year? Because it's a different market right now.
Very different. My gosh, compared to the last 2 years, it's incredibly different. Affordability is a whole different game now.
It is.
With that being said, there's definitely buyer power. I think sellers are definitely understanding that, hey, this is not the market it was 2 years ago. We all have to collaborate a little bit more here. You can't just say your price and expect to get 14 offers above.
Nope, that's not happening anymore. And I think the length of time that they're on the market is going to be
correct.
Different.
It's already increasing. Yes. So with that being said, I think I always try to do a good job of encouraging buyers that, hey, we do have a little bit more power now. So let's try to be collaborative. We can be creative with how we go about this. It may take a little while. But just staying encouraging of that. Rates. Does anyone know what rates are going to do firmly? I know. I just read an article how they're expected to, hike up in the next
Well,
couple
it's
weeks.
so
So,
funny because yesterday we had this rally, and I mean, everything that
mm-hmm,
no one expected it. I mean, we had a really nice price improvement yesterday, and
mm-hmm,
so I think that's what we're going to see periodically throughout the year. I mean, the inflation was lower yesterday when it came
yes,
out than what they expected. So I think what they're doing, what the feds are doing, it's working. The consumer, what they were buying, the last couple of months is slowing down. So
mm-hmm,
whatever they're doing,
mm-hmm,
what they've been doing is working. It's
mm-hmm,
slowing down the economy a little bit.
yes,
And so I think from a price perspective, I honestly think we're going to be in the fives probably before the second quarter of this year.
mm-hmm,
And then, we'll see. We'll see
mm-hmm,
from there.
sure,
But right now, I mean, we were at, gosh, 7.5
mm-hmm,
in December,
it's true.
and now they're back down to six and a
6,
half.
right?
So, so things are moving down, and
Mm-hmm,
we're coming up with different products. We're coming up with different,
yes,
things that from affordability that we can offer people, because you have to do something
mm-hmm, so
to
true.
generate and be able to have, these people that can, even retirees. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
with their investments dropping
Oh
and things
gosh,
like that, you're going to
devastating. Yeah.
start. I think I had a guy I was talking to right before you came in, and she's, buying her third home in the villages because she's
Mm-hmm.
renting them out, and,
Sure.
for investment and doing well. And she says, I might as well do that because, my investments are just going down the tubes.
Mm-hmm.
But, they're starting to think, well, should I hold on to this money now?
Mm.
Where last year, the year before, they were paying cash for everything,
Sure.
knowing that their investments were growing, and so there's a lot of unknowns.
Very much so.
But from a real estate standpoint, I mean, I'm encouraged. I'm thinking that
Mm-hmm.
we're going to see some really positive upbeats in the next couple of months. I think if you can sustain over the next couple of
Yes,
months and just keep doing the right activities,
I
and
agree.
I think we're going to be okay. I do think there's going to be a lot of people that exit,
Yes, I agree.
and that's not a bad thing. I
Mm-hmm.
think that we have to see some adjustment there too, because we can't all be fighting over the same house,
No, of course.
and the same program. And we all, from a lender standpoint, we all have the same products, so it's not
Mm-hmm.
like, there's this big change no matter who you go with.
Sure.
But we have to see some attrition there, and when that
Mm.
happens, I think you can have a really strong. I've always done better in a downturn market than I have
Mm.
I mean,
Sure.
who would have, we did so well during the pandemic that,
Mm.
was a totally abnormal situation.
Absolutely.
And people who just kind of got into it during that time,
Yeah,
they haven't seen this is the real life. I
that's
mean,
true.
45 days, 60 days, 90 days on the market,
Mm-hmm.
those things were all normal.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're like, oh, okay, we're adjusting, we're coming back.
Sure.
So
It's like that tension of that transition
but when
of
you
the
made
coffers,
that,
yeah.
when you made that move and you came here, and
Mm-hmm.
and all of a sudden we had that, what? Okay,
Sure.
it's not the same. Well, how did it
Not
make
at
you
all.
feel? Were you a little nervous?
Yes and no. I also knew that was to come. Like,
Yeah,
I also knew to expect quite a drastic change and to
yeah,
adapt to that. I mean, if
yeah.
I didn't set my brain and poise myself for adaptability, then
Mm,
yeah, I would have struggled quite a bit. I mean, I definitely came down here just kind of saying, okay, I'm taking what's going to happen. I
right.
will roll with what will happen. We'll figure things out.
Now, when what you got your degree in what?
My undergraduate was fashion merchandising
Of
with a
course,
minor in
of course.
marketing. This is called an ascot.
Okay, I know that.
It's so funny because Freddie, he's like, "What is there a special name for what this is?"
Oh, he'll be wearing
Yeah,
a now,
and he's
right?
like, "Is that not just a bandana?" Like, oh,
He'll be wearing a next.
he'll be
right?
wearing ascots next. Yes,
Yeah,
yeah, we'll
right.
all be wearing ascots
Right.
next. So funny. So my minor was fashion merchandising, and then I got my master's in business administration.
So, did you do anything prior to getting into real estate?
Yeah. So I lived in New York City for a time,
Oh, you
lived the whole
did?
fashion scene. Yeah, worked in menswear.
Oh
So
my
with Nautica
gosh!
menswear.
With a specific store?
Yeah, Nautica menswear, corporate.
Oh my
Mhm.
gosh!
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So very much corporate.
Did you like it?
Yes and no.
Was it what you expected?
It wasn't. I mean, not what I expected. I had a very analytical role, which was totally fine. It's just not. I didn't express the element of creativity that I was hoping
Looking for.
Merchandising overall is the more business side of the field.
Mhm.
That is the more analytical
Right.
side of the field. I mean, the apparel industry is one of the largest
Right.
industries in our world.
Right.
We all wear clothes, and
Right.
yeah,
Yes, we
no
do.
one goes without them. Not many
Right.
people go without them.
Right.
Yeah, so it was a really fascinating, just large corporation to be with, and it was really interesting.
So how long were you there?
I was there for about a year. Yes.
And did you like New York?
Yeah, I loved New York for that time. Knew it was not a forever place.
Yeah.
But I loved it for that time.
You did.
I knew it was a temporary chapter.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. And that's typically like most students who go to fashion school, they have their internships, they work for a little bit, and then I went back to school. So, yes.
And so do you ever see yourself getting into that side of it, or is that just going to be just something that you enjoy looking at and getting, and do you think you'll ever dabble in it again?
I think I will. I think later in life. I would love to have a boutique of sorts.
I was going to say, you are so that person in my mind.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that would very much be the realm that I would like to go in. Corporate fashion, probably not, to that large scale. But yes, later in life, I would love to go about the small business fashion scene.
Well, do it there in downtown
I know.
Ocala. I mean, there's some office spaces around there that I know are coming available.
That's true. Right. Got some connections.
Yes, you do.
Yes.
Well, so you think we're gonna be okay this year? You think things are gonna be good?
Absolutely.
I mean, your brokerage is really, really growing.
Yep.
And are they looking for specific type of agents? Are they?
Yeah, really all age groups. We're looking just for tenacious agents that are wanting to positively disrupt the area.
Okay.
So who are really just excited for the change. They're ready to work hard. They want to go about things. They want to be a part of the growth that Ocala is. That's all they ask.
Yep. Well, I'm so excited for you because I know you're going to do just fantastic.
Well, thank you.
We're so happy to have you here in Ocala.
Absolutely.
And I can't wait to see what kind of store you open up. And I'll be a patron for you down the road, maybe.
Perfect.
Yep. And I look forward to working with you this year.
You as well.
And wish you all kinds of luck and success. And thanks so much for doing this with me today.
Yeah. Thank you.